guideline. Before moving forward with the workshop, let's go through some safety note. Let's move to the slide 2. Stove safety. Cooking related fires are the leading cause of home fires and injuries in the United States. According to the National Fire Protection Association, cooking fires account for nearly half of all reported home fires, with unattended cooking being the primary cause. Practicing proper stove safety can help prevent fires and injuries, ensuring safer cooking environment for your household. Here are some important stove safety tips. Never leave cooking unattended. Stay in the kitchen while using the stove. If you must leave, turn off the burner or set a timer to remind you to check back frequently. Keep flammable items away. Keep dish towel, paper towels, wooden utensils, and curtains at least 3 feet away from the stove to prevent accidental fires. Turn pot handles in war position, handle away from the edge of the to prevent spills and burn, especially if there are children around. Keep the stove clean. Grease buildup can fuel a fire regularly. Clean burner, grates, and the surrounding area to prevent grease and food residue from igniting. Know how to extinguish a fire. Never use water on a grease fire. Instead, smother flames with a metal lead, baking soda, or a fire extinguisher rated for kitchen use. Let's move to agenda and a little bit of housekeeping. Meeting will be recorded. Let me put the recording.
Already started. You're good to go.
Oh, you already started. Thank you, Eddie.
Yep.
Meeting will be recorded. One or more decision maker may be present during the meeting, but no decision will be taken. Attendees have the ability to mute or unmute themselves. Attendee will be asked to stay muted unless they like to participate in a discussion. Attendees can also enter questions into the chat box. If there is not enough time to respond to all chat box questions during the workshop, SPD will collect answers to those questions and circulate them to the service list after the workshop. During the discussion, please use the hand raise function to speak, and moderator will do their best to call on attendees in order. After the question is asked, attendees should lower their hand. Can I ask who is from IT from CPUC here? Do we have anyone from IT CPUC? We can move on with that, I guess. Agenda will be relatively fixed, but flexibility allowed only if there's a consensus. For introduction, let's do a quick roll call. From CPUC, my name is Amin Emrani. I can see Eddie Schmidt, Taru Chawla, Julian Ennis, and sorry if I'm missing someone else, but these are some people that they're in my screen. From PG&E, is there anyone on the call, and can a representative from PG&E introduce their team?
Hi, good afternoon. This is Julie Colvin. We have a number of folks on from PG&E, including our Senior Director, Justin Sadler, from our undergrounding strategy and programs team, Megan Ardell leading our external engagement, and a number of other stakeholders on the regulatory team, risk teams, reg affairs, program strategy. Thanks.
Thank you. How about Public Advocate's Office? Do we have anyone from Public Advocate Office?
Yes,
we
we are
can
here.
move on. Oh, sorry.
Chris
go ahead.
Parks and others. Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you. Do we have anyone from Sempra companies?
Yes, good afternoon. This is Tim Node, program manager for our electric system hardening program, and we also have a number of our supporting team members on. I won't go through all the names, but yeah, we are represented.
Do we have anyone from MGRA? Do we have anyone from MGRA? We can move to TERN. Do we have anyone from TERN? Do we have anyone from SCE?
Hello, we have Brian Landry and Calvary representing SCE.
Hi, Brian. Do we have anyone from California Farm Brew? How about telecommunication representatives?
Hi, this is Ankur Patel from AT&T.
Hi. Do we have anyone from Green Power Institute, GPI? Do we have anyone from California Utility Employees? Other companies or entities, do we have anyone that I didn't call or read their name? Okay, there will be another technical working group on June 24th, which would be more focused on ICE calculator version 2, and Lawrence Berkeley National Laboratory will present the updates regarding ICE calculator comparing to the previous version, and utilities might present how they plan to adopt the new ICE in their SB-884 application. Let's move to slide 4 and talk about a little bit about purpose and basically expected outcome of these technical working group. Let's begin by discussing the purpose of SB-884 project list data template. The primary goal of the template is to establish a structured and consistent way for utilities to submit detailed undergrounding project information in compliance with the SB-884 application. It should ensure comparability across utilities, traceability of reported data, and alignment with CPUC resolutions. SPDS staff already presented the revised SB-884 project list data template last week. In this technical working group, we are asking the workshop attendees to provide feedback on SPD data template, as well as discuss the benefit and cost of various information and formatting requirements that Commission should consider in the SB-884 project list data requirement guideline. In another word, the purpose of this technical working group meeting is to ask stakeholder feedback and input on potential changes to the data template. Please note that during this technical working group, I use the term data template and SB-884 project list data requirement guideline interchangeably. Let's move to slide 5. Without further ado, let's open the floor to attendees and SB-884 stakeholders for any questions, comments, or topics they would like to discuss regarding the SB-884 project list. Data we present last week, actually. This is a valuable opportunity to raise any areas of uncertainty or propose improvements. PG&E already submitted a set of questions yesterday, which we share with the SB-884 notification list shortly thereafter. We can begin today's discussion by walking through those questions first and then move to other questions or comments. So we can, PG&E, you can ask your question, or I can share basically your question like that you send. We already send it to the SB-884 notification list, and I believe that this workshop attendee have access to those. Which one do you prefer? PG&E, do you want to read that and we discuss one by one?
I mean, I think it would be great if you could share your screen with those questions, just so folks can see the same questions that we're all looking at, if you have that available, or else we can grab it.
Sure. Yes, I can share. Just give me a second.
As you're pulling that up, I'm just happy to give a little bit of background. These are questions we've written really to confirm and get some clarity on some of our interpretations of what we're seeing in these new reporting requirements. And so really our goal is to get some feedback during this workshop, and then we'd have a little bit more to share in writing on June 24th when the written comments are due. So more so as it relates to reconciling this with the energy safety template, new fields or omissions and clarifications and corrections. I would say too, while these comments that we're really looking at to get clarity on, it's more technical in nature. I think at a high level, we still have some process questions as far as how this information would be used to evaluate our applications with phase 2 and requests for cost recoveries. And we're really thinking that comments should be an opportunity when we see the draft resolution 2.0 issued, and even when energy safety issues compliance guidelines, since it's really not clear how these reporting requirements and would be used and how the data would be used as it relates to a compliance perspective and cost recovery. So I think getting a sense of the relationship between the draft resolution and these proposed data requirements would also be helpful.
Thank you so much for the clarification. Should we move on? Should we start with the first question?
Yep.
So in the first question, basically it's asked that table 1 fields CBR variance percentage and unit cost is regarding CBR variance percentage and unit cost variance. These fields ask for percentage difference between forecasted CBR submitted in the phase 2 application and updated CBR in a subsequent progress report, and percentage difference between the forecasted unit cost submitted in phase 2 application and updated unit cost in a subsequent progress report. PG&E assumes that the CBR and unit cost submitted in the phase 2 application are the forecast CBR and forecast cost for project coming out of energy safety EUP, which is electrical utility undergrounding plan guideline, screen 2. Please confirm PG&E assumption is correct. So this is the first question, and PG&E assumes that the CBR and unit cost will be updated at a certain project life cycle milestone, for example, end of the estimating and of design, etc. Recognizing that they may not be updated with every 6 months progress report. Please confirm PG&E assumption is correct. So these are main 2 questions that basically PG&E asked in the first question. I try to answer the first one. Basically, it's partially correct, and PG&E shall submit the latest data available when PG&E submits its phase 2 application, meaning that if the data change from screen 2 to phase 2 application, they should submit the latest data available in phase 2 application. For the second one, basically, PG&E assume that CBR and will be updated at certain project life cycle. I would say if there is no update, PG&E still shall submit the SB-884 project list data requirement in every progress report. And please note that, again, let me re-emphasize that it should be with the latest data available or calculated at that progress report. Did we answer your question? Should we move on? Do you have other question regarding this one?
Hey, this is Justin from PG&E. I just want to ask a follow-up to that just to make sure that I understand. So when we say, for example, like the forecast CBR, we are what SPD is asking for is we'd like to have the latest and greatest data available at the time that we file our progress report, so that number can change. Is that accurate to say the forecast number can change? Are there limitations on how much we could change that number or the frequency of changes?
I think you need to clarify a little bit more on that question, but I would say in a general term that in every 6 months progress report, PG&E shall submit the latest data. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Thank you.
Okay, awesome. If there are other concerns, please put them in writing and we will review them. Okay, let's move to
also, sorry, I mean, Arthur has his hand up.
Yeah,
Okay,
Arthur Fisher, Cal Advocates. So I'm just trying to clarify here. There's going to be a forecasted CBR that is going to be part of the Commission's decision. And that's going to be, surely that's going to be the benchmark against which any progress or any future cost recovery is going to be measured. So not everything can change. It's got to be this. It's got to be some sort of benchmark within the decision that can't change that we've got to measure against. Is that not how it works?
Okay, maybe I should clarify that. I can go, or Eddie, you can go ahead first. Let's Eddie. I think he has some answer for that. Eddie, go ahead.
Oh,
Please.
I just wanted to make it clear that yes, there is a forecasted CPR that's submitted with the phase 2 application, and that that will be part of the phase 2 application proceedings deliberation. Yeah. So there is a baseline, Arthur, and I think that's that baseline is the kind of the location on where we would be doing our variance calculation.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So if I might add, actually, Eddie actually answered very well, but if I might add, so utilities will submit forecasted CBR, forecasted basically unit costs in an initial or a phase 2 application. And it has a time. If you see in any table, there are 2 dates, actually, recorded date and reporting date. And then later on, it might change, but basically what we do, we define another variable called variance, which is basically, as you mentioned, we compare the updated CBR or updated unit cost with a benchmark, with the original or phase 2 application that the decision is based on during the process. Does it make sense, Ian?
Yes, that makes sense. Thank you very much.
Okay, of course. Okay, do we have other questions here? I think we can move on to the second one. So table 1 fields, post-mitigation, ignition, and reliability consequence fields, safety, reliability, and financial. PG&E assumed that this field is asking a utility to report estimated or forecasted post-mitigation value at the time a project is scoped. Screen 3 of Energy Safety Guideline. Post-mitigation value will not be updated and post-mitigation values will not be updated. Please confirm that PG&E assumption is correct. So PG&E, I think we answered that question in the previous basic question, is that PG&E shall submit table 1, including post-mitigation, ignition, reliability consequence fields, and other fields in all progress reports until the project is used and useful. Again, with the latest data available and calculated. Do we have any question here? I think we can move to the third question. Third question from PG&E. I'm sharing actually one more time, I'm sharing the question that PG&E sent us yesterday, and we circulated with the SB-884 notification list right after that. Actually, question number 3. Table 1 field total CapEx and total OpEx. PG&E assumes that this is a total estimated lifetime capital expenditure, CapEx, and lifetime expenditure amounts, OpEx, for mitigation. This is the value used to calculate the CBR. Please confirm PG&E assumption is correct. PG&E assumes that these field represent the total CapEx and total OpEx coming out of screen 2 and will not be updated. Please confirm PG&E assumption is correct. Again, this is a PG&E question that they sent yesterday to us. So our comment would be, first of all, PG&E should provide more information regarding the meaning of basically and lifetime expenses amount, which they call it OpEx, for mitigation. And our question would be from PG&E is, can you clarify what type of cost PG&E means, or they think that it should be included in these definition. If you can do that in a writing, we can review that. SPD will review the PG&E comment, and while we are actually completing the SPD data template. Before moving forward to question, I want to make 2 points again, that PG&E shall, or all utilities who want to participate in SB-884 shall submit all these data elements in all progress report until the project is used and useful with the most updated information. Also, another point that I want to share is that all these values in table 1, which is total underline OpEx and total underline CapEx, should be exactly as what we have in table 2, which they should be. Do we have any question?
Hey, Amin.
Oh, Eddie, do you want to clarify something?
Well,
Yes,
I just wanted
sure.
to let you know that your audio is cutting in and out pretty badly. If you have your video on, you might want to turn it off.
Sorry about that. Let me see. Yes. My voice is better now.
I think so. I'll let
Can
you
you
know.
guys?
I'll let you know if it cuts out again.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, thank you so much. Do we have any question for or response? And actually, PG, any question for number 3 and or response? If not, we can move to the next question, question number 4 of PG&E. Okay. Basically, it's also regarding to total circuit miles. The field description asks for the total number of pre-mitigated circuit miles included in the RRU or project. PG&E assumes that this is the number of overhead circuit miles removed at the end of the project scoping, and that this value is maintained for the life of the order project. Please confirm the PG&E assumption is correct. I would say yes, it's correct. It's overhead circuit miles removed. Let's move to question number 5 from list of the question that PG&E sent us regarding this workshop. So this field is regarding, again, based on this question is regarding the table 1 field tranche level. This field, basically tranche level field, describe the tranche that includes the asset or systems that the project mitigates. The field states that the tranche is a quantile of likelihood of risk event lower and consequence of risk event core for wildfire ignition risk that should be presented in the following shorthand core multiplied to lower. Actually, we gave some example. The field describe also states that if the utility ought to write a white paper presenting an alternative approach to tranche, they must create a clear, concise shorthand for the structure of the tranches. Moving on, PG&E assumes that the utility can propose a different tranche structure as long as it meets the requirement that a tranche includes the asset or system that project mitigates. Please confirm that PG&E assumption is correct. So, or comment or response would be, if the utility has not yet issued a white paper in previous RAM, then they can only use core and lower as mentioned in our RDF. RDF allows utility to propose a new tranche structure only for ramp GRC cycle. If PG&E has more thought or comment, I encourage them that put those comments in writing, and we will review it as we complete our final version of the template. Do we have any question regarding or comment regarding question 5 of PG&E list of questions? Okay, I think we are clear. Just a feedback from audience. Can you confirm that my connection or my voice is good? Can you hear my voice?
Yes,
Yes.
Okay.
it's good.
Could I,
Okay,
if
awesome.
you want, I mean, maybe there's a suggestion. Would PG&E be willing to read out some of these questions? I think it's important to have them read out for the record, but just to save Amin's voice, I don't want the poor guy to go hoarse. Would someone from PG&E be willing to read out the last 5 questions, and then Amin could give an answer?
Thank you. It's a good suggestion.
Yeah, this is Justin from PG&E. I could jump in and start on number 6.
Thank you, Justin. I appreciate it.
So question 6, this is regarding table 1. So our undergrounding mitigation justification 1 and justification 2. PG&E assumes that undergrounding mitigation justification 1 represents the primary justification for selecting undergrounding for a particular project, and undergrounding mitigation justification 2 represents the secondary justification. PG&E will justify its decision to select undergrounding if a project meets one or more of the 3 project level thresholds required in the Energy Safety EUP guidelines: the high risk threshold, the ignition tail risk threshold, and the high frequency outage program threshold. In some cases, a project will meet only one of the thresholds, and there will not be a secondary justification. PG&E assumes that in these cases, we can leave the field undergrounding mitigation justification 2 blank. If a project meets all 3 thresholds, PG&E will enter 2 thresholds in the field undergrounding mitigation justification 2. Please share more about the intent and to confirm that PG&E's assumption is correct and that PG&E's proposed approach is reasonable.
Thank you. So our response would be, while utilities can also use the 3 project level threshold that you mentioned required in Energy Safety UP guideline, the justification field can be broader, as mentioned in the field description, including cost efficiency and like something other like operational limitation. So I hope it addresses your question. Do we have any question or comment on question number 6? I think we don't. Can you move on to question number 7, please?
Okay, question 7. So this is also regarding table 1. So for all fields, are there any fields in table 1 that a utility cannot update throughout the project lifecycle? PG&E intends to provide a mix of data that includes projects in Screen 2 and Screen 3, and anticipates project risk data will change throughout the life cycle, post Screen 4, for example. When are these considered locked, if at all? Do we simply change the reporting date? when making our updates, or do we add new lines and keep the old data?
So SPD response would be that PG&E, first of all, I mentioned it several times, but worth mentioning again, PG&E should submit all the data element of table 1 to 6 in all progress reports until the project is used and useful with the latest data available and calculated when they report them. Also, PG&E should present what are their concerns about this point actually, and SPD definitely explore whether or not we need to change something in light of those comments. Do we have any comment or question from SPD, PG&E, or other stakeholders? Okay, we can move to question number 8, please.
Okay, question number 8. So we're moving on to table 2, and this is regarding the total CapEx and total OpEx fields. Based on the breakdown requested, PG&E assumes that in these fields we are reporting the total capital construction cost for a project. For example, costs for scoping, estimating, design, civil and electric construction, and project closeout. We are excluding the lifetime operations and maintenance costs. By excluding the lifetime operations and maintenance costs, these fields will not equal the total CapEx and OpEx fields in Table 1 as required in the field description. These fields will not equal the values reported in Table 1 because we assume that the total CapEx and total OpEx fields in Table 1 are the values used to calculate the CBR, which will include our lifetime operations and maintenance costs. Please confirm PG&E's assumption is correct.
Thank you. So again, I think I mentioned it a few minutes ago that total CapEx and total OpEx fields in table 1 should be exactly the same, and total CapEx and total OpEx field in table 2, which is the basically table 2, which is the cost breakdown. We SPD would recommend that PG&E share with us the exactly mean of lifetime OIM cost and other suggestion PG&E might have, like clarify what kind of cost is part of the O&M operational and maintenance cost. We suggest actually PG&E provide more information in writing regarding the like even the lifetime operation and maintenance cost, and we definitely review that. Do we have any concern or question regarding this question? Question number 8. Okay, I think we can move to question number 9, please.
All right, so this one is regarding table 3, the change date field. So this field asks for the date the assets or systems mitigated by the RRU or project were changed. PG&E assumes that this is the date that the undergrounding project is completed, either energized or used and useful. Please confirm that PG&E's assumption is correct.
So not quite. These data that utility report, basically we are collecting this table, or utility should report this table again in every 6 months report, and basically the data that utility report any change in RRU or project in any of the progress report. So the change can be identification of how the asset or system mitigated by RRU have been defined and redefined since the last update, the previous 6 months basically progress report. It can be new data inputs. I think it's a next question from PG&E. New construction of assets or system, renaming of asset or system, splitting of asset and system, merging of asset or system, and other potential changes. Do we have any comment or question regarding question number 9? Hey, can you please move to question number 10?
Okay, so for question 10, this is also table 3, field change type. This field requires the utility to identify how the assets or systems mitigated by the RRU have been defined and redefined since the last update, including provide new data inputs to risk model. PG&E requests a clear definition of what new data inputs means in this context in order to determine if we can comply. Also, this field requires a utility to provide information related to assets or systems. PG&E requests a clear definition of what assets or systems means in this context. PG&E assumes assets or systems is a circuit segment or a partial circuit segment. Please confirm if PG&E's interpretation is correct.
So for the first part regarding new data input to the risk model, so one of the main change that can happen is change in a risk model that utilities use, like for example from version 2 to version 3 to calculate their risk and all the way to risk reduction, CBR. If PG&E has other thoughts on how to define this field, please put them in writing and SPD will review it as we finalize the data template. For the second part of the question regarding that information related to asset and systems, basically asset and systems term or field is intended to be more granular than circuit segment and more granular than even sub-project, which is a part of the circuit segment. We encourage PG&E to present a detailed definition for this field. In the phase 4 workshop number 1, PG&E took the position that a definition of assets or systems field was not necessary. We are kindly asking if PG&E changed this position and reversing that position. If you want to add something, please put it in the writing and we will review that. Do we have any question or comment from PG&E or other stakeholders here? I think we can move on to the next question, please.
All right, question 11. So this is also table 3 regarding fields current pre-mitigated risk score and current pre-mitigated risk percentage. The data fields ask for the pre-mitigated risk score for the assets mitigated by the RRU or project, calculated under the current risk model in dollars, and divided by the total risk score calculated using the current risk model. PG&E assumes that assets in these fields are primary distribution line. Please confirm that PG&E's assumption is correct.
So what we would say is assets refer to all the assets in RRU and project, including the associated asset to that. Actually, we have a table for that. Like it would be, as I mentioned in the previous question, it's much more granular than this circuit segment or even sub project, which is partial circuit segment.
I mean, Arthur
We have a
has his
question
hand up.
from. Yes, please go on, Ian.
Hey, I mean, it's Ian again. Just an observation here. PG&E models their assets at the asset type level. They have individual risk. You have individual risk models for poles, lines, transformers, all the different types of assets. So one would assume that this would be working at the same level as your own risk models, because then you would have a clean
I would say
from your
yes.
risk modeling to yes. Okay, sorry.
No, no worries. Yes, correct. So can you hear me? So correct. This the asset, as I mentioned before, the asset or system is intended to be more granular than circuit segment, which actually you mentioned some of the part like poles part, and in a data template, actually data template presentation last week, we gave some examples of how it might look like. But you're I would say correct. Did I answer your question, Ian?
Yes, thank you.
Of course. Let's move to question number 12.
All right, question number 12. So again, this is table 3. This is regarding the field's previous asset system list. So this field first identifies 4 bulleted items: new construction, renaming, splitting or merging of assets or systems. PG&E assumes assets or systems as a circuit segment or partial circuit segment. Please confirm if PG&E's interpretation is correct. The field then requires the utility to list the unique assets and or unique systems mitigated by the RRU or project prior to the change date. PG&E assumes that the unique assets and or unique systems refer to the individual components that make up a circuit segment or partial circuit segment that has been newly constructed, renamed, split, or merged. Please confirm if PG&E's interpretation is correct.
Thank you. So let me start from second question. Actually, this is a correct one. The unique asset and unique system refer to individual component that make up.
Amin, I'm sorry to interrupt you. The audio is going out. It's very low right now.
Sorry, can you hear me now? Can you hear me well?
No, it sounds like you're really far away.
Oops. Let me Is it better?
Yes,
There
you're
we go.
closer. It's still breaking up a little bit, but it sounds like you're closer.
Now, is it better? Is it better now?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So let me reply with the second part of the question, and it's correct that the unique assets and or unique system refer to the individual component that make up a circuit segment or partial circuit segment that has been basically newly constructed. So this is a correct one. But going back to the first part, again, I can reread the answer that we prepare for the first part, that asset or system is intended to be more granular than circuit segment and more granular than sub-project. And we, again, encourage PG&E to present a detailed definition for this field. Do we have any comment or question regarding that question? Okay, I think we cover all the questions from PG&E, and one more time, apologize, my internet is very spotty. It seems that AT&T has been doing some construction here. I apologize for that. Do we have any other question from PG&E or or comment? Yeah, you have a question?
I have one question. Can we just go back to question 4, please, for a second? I want just to clarify a definition from PG&E on what they mean by project scoping. Yeah, what do they mean by project scoping exactly at the end of project scoping?
So I think what we're getting at with that question, Ian, was the end of screen 3 is when we consider the end of project scoping. Does that clarify?
Kind of. I'm just trying to work it when it is. So it's a project. Is it has it actually been selected into screen 4 if it's at the end of screen 3? I'm just trying to. Is it something you're actually going to build?
Well, I believe that the way the OAS guidelines are constructed is once a project has made it through screen 3, it's considered confirmed.
Gotcha.
So that would be a confirmed project, and that's the circuit miles that we would use for table 1.
Okay, so that's the circuit miles of the confirmed project, but is there a possibility that the circuit miles that actually get removed is going to be different to that?
I mean, we can see your
It's not me.
oh, it's not you?
It's not me.
Someone else is sharing. If you could stop sharing.
Someone is sharing.
Lily
It's like
Schneider.
Lily Schneider.
Uh-huh.
Thank you.
So my question is there a possibility that the actual circuit miles that are removed is going to be different from the screen 3, screen 4 stated miles?
Yes, I think that's possible, Ian.
So, okay, so in that case, isn't it the amount that's used and useful, the amount that's taken out of service that should actually be recorded, the actual rather than the proposed? I mean, that's a question for anybody who cares to answer at this point. I just think whilst we can take the screen 3, end of screen 3 as a benchmark for your intention, the intention of the utility, it's not going to record the actual risk reduction. The actual risk reduction is going to be down to what comes out at the end of the project, not at the end of scoping. That's my concern.
One person from energy safety, Stefan, wants to make comment. Stefan, do you want to go ahead and if you have any answer or comment?
Yeah, this might not fully answer the question, but I think it's important to note that in this scenario that we're describing, where a project has gone through screen and 4 and then is changed, that energy safety would expect to see new numbers for the screen 3, screen 4 tables and sub-project tables if there were sub-projects on that project at the next progress report.
Okay, and so, but that's got to feed through to the progress report to SPD, to the commission as well. And so I just want to make sure that we're judging the risk reduction by the SPD and energy safety benchmark, judging risk reduction by the same point in the project, which is the actual completed project rather than the proposed project that's in screen 3 or screen 4.
Right. Maybe I could add. Oh, thanks, Ian. I think that's a valid question, and actually, I wanted to ask PG&E for a clarification. You know, you're saying the end of project scoping. Did you intend that you would not fill out the total circuit miles from table 1 with screen 2 data before the end of project scoping?
No, I think what we're hearing based on the conversation today is we would provide the latest information that we have. So in the case that a project had only made it through screen 2, we would provide screen 2 data in that table.
But then I think to Ian's point, you would provide the most up-to-date circuit mile data with each progress report.
Yeah, that's what we understand based off what we're hearing today, is to continue to provide the most updated data. And
I want to make sure that it's clear because PG&E is planning to use sub-projects. So, you know, you once you've created your sub-projects after scoping in screen 3, you would provide, you know, the total circuit miles, but those would add up to the project level that you had originally, you know, suggested, I suppose, in a previous on a previous project report, progress report.
I think that makes sense. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, your sub projects must be able to add up to your project level.
I think that does make sense, Eddie. Although I am concerned that, you know, once we're providing more detailed scoping information, for example, in screen 3, it is within the realm of possibility that there will be incremental changes in miles from what we thought in screen 2.
Right.
So there may be some differences.
Right. Okay. Thank you. Ian, did that help answer some of your questions?
That helps substantially. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I just want to make sure we're actually tracking the actual risk reduction rather than the proposed risk reduction.
Yeah, I think that the point is that you know, as they keep updating the data template, even up to used and useful, then at the point of used and useful, that essentially would be the project as it's built. Yeah.
Exactly. Agreed. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
And one more comment, Ian, is that Eddie mentioned it, that for project that is originally in phase 2 application, PG&E submit as project, and later they decide to do sub-project or part of that project, or call that RRU. Then we define something called backcast, basically to provide the apple-to-apple comparison. Basically, so what if you had that size at the beginning or in phase 2 application, and now compare that forecast CBR with what's the basically CBR of the RRU or sub project that is used and useful. Justin, do you want to make any comment?
Yeah, I just want to ask one more question, and we'll provide this in writing as well. But because we're on this topic, I think it might be a good time to bring it up. So the structure of Table 1 infers that the costs and the risks that we're calculating at the sub-project level. But when we initially file the EUP, we're going to be calculating risk at the project or circuit segment level. And we're going to be making decisions, based at the circuit segment level. So I think the question that I have is, when we report risk and calculate risk at the sub-project level, they're not going to be allocated. At least our interpretation is they wouldn't be allocated at the sub-project level, because we calculate and make those risk decisions at the project level. And so I think we see that there could be a bit of an issue where when we file our phase 1 application, it will be at the project level, and then phase 2 will have some of these sub-project components. We could end up with different risk values. We could end up with different cost-benefit ratios. Our perception is that we would file phase 2 and we would just report the project level CBRs for our projects, because that's how they're being evaluated in phase 1. I would love to know whether or not that interpretation is correct.
Eddie, do you want to move forward? It seems Eddie has some answer for that.
Well, I think it would be great to hear Justin's perspective on that in writing, and I think that's an issue that we can kind of look at when after we receive your comments. I just wanted to clarify, though, my understanding, and perhaps I'm wrong, but my understanding is that even in the phase 1 application, PG&E and all of the utilities are required to submit at least 25 projects that would have passed through all 4 of the screens. Justin, can you confirm that that's correct?
My understanding is that we have to submit at least 25 projects, and that would be at the circuit segment level, that have made it through screen 3. And then they would be confirmed once they were received in progress report 0. And then, I'd certainly ask OEIS if they want to clarify if I misstated anything there.
Well, could you just confirm that those 25 projects you would have also already scoped the sub-projects for each of those 25, and that those would also be included in your submission to energy safety?
Yes, so those would be broken down by sub-project. But I think that the question would be for projects that are still in screen 2, for instance. Those will be broken down by sub-project at a much later time. and presumably wouldn't be evaluated for inclusion in the 10-year plan in phase 1 at the sub-project level.
Understood. But you do intend to include at least those 25 projects broken out by sub-project in your application to the commission as well, correct?
Yes, that's right.
And probably it would be more than that, because by that time a progress report had already been completed and what have you, correct?
That's the plan. Yep.
Okay, thank you. So we'll review your comments and we'll look forward to reading them. Thanks.
I also shared two backcasted field that we are expecting utilities to basically report to us, especially if they plan to do or sub report based on the sub project designation. And I think just for general information, I'm pretty sure Eddie and Justin are well aware of that, but for other audience that PG&E or utilities, they might want to use sub-project designation, but at the beginning or in a phase 2 application, they might not have the all information to, they call it, scope the project or basically provide sub-project or define RRU. So at the beginning, they might report at project level, and when they move on and they scope the project, they create RRU and sub-project. So we define 3 field or variables that basically backcasted mitigation benefit, backcasted present value cost, and backcasted cost benefit ratio that I'm sharing. And these values are retrospective present value of basic risk reduction, retrospective present value of the cost, and retrospective cost benefit of that project or RRU using the assumption and data submitted in the phase 2 application, which might be project and then the transition to sub project, just to like bring everyone up to speed. Do we have any more comment or question regarding project, sub project, and scoping? I think we are good. So if we don't, let me share the slide one more time. I think we are pretty on time for it, like 10-minute breaks. Just let me, oops, presenting team. It has some lag.
I mean, you still there?
It's my internet. Yeah, I am still there. I don't know if my internet or something, but some difficulty sharing the presentation.
I
But
can see
we
it.
are almost at 2 o'clock, and oh, you can see that? I cannot. So, oh, now I can see. Okay, you're leading my. So I think we are on time for a 10-minute break. Let's do go on a break for 10 minutes, and we can come back at 2:10. Thank you, everyone. Hello, everyone. I think we can resume more presentation. Let's move to slide 7. Let's move on to more general discussion regarding SB-884 project list data or its data elements and related topics that attendee and SB-884 stakeholder would like to discuss. We also welcome broader input on data standardization, field definition, alignment with basically internal utility practices, or anything else that can help us improve the data collection process. We have any question, comment, concern? I see something in chat.
I mean, this is Julie from PG&E. I did just put a question in the chat, but didn't make it to the written comments, but just one more is tied to table 4. They refer to costs with associated assets. And I'm curious if these associated assets are tied to secondaries and services, or what is the vision of what should be reported in associated assets?
Thank you, Julie, for the question. So the table associated asset basically collect data or any circuit or part of circuit that the risk that they are identified as low risk. So if secondary and service lines are low risk, yes, they should be also reported in associated asset. But it's not just limited to secondary and services. For example, if utilities or PG&E needs to underground because of operational constraint, they should also be part of or they should be also reported in table 4. Did I answer your question, Julie?
Yes, thank you.
Of course. Any other question or comment? Do we have any more question, comment regarding any topics, data that we discussed? Oh, we have a question from Ian. Please go ahead.
I mean, so I don't know if this is the moment for it, but I just want to clarify something. And this is more to do with crosswalking data between energy safety's requirements and SPD's requirements. It's just how I'm just trying to work out if there's any way we can get some sort of idea of the relationship and the indexing between what a project is in energy safety versus what a project is in SPD, and actually have some sort of kind of diagrammatic relationship between how these elements are represented in both data sets. It's more about just understanding how things are going to get coordinated between kind of both sets of data. I don't know if this is the right moment for that discussion, or that's something we need to bring up in our written comments.
It's a great moment actually to talk about that. So table 1, 2, and 4 in our data template, they collect 3 fields. RRUI, I can share actually. Let me share. I can explain it while I'm sharing. So can you see my screen?
Yes.
So for example, I'm showing table 4, but it's the same for 1, 2, 4. So it has 4 primary key: RRUID, sub-project ID, project ID, and undergrounding alternative mitigation. So sub-project ID and project ID are exactly the same as what OIIS call actually sub-project ID and project ID. So they are exactly the same. Alternative undergrounding alternative mitigation is actually it can get 3 values: undergrounding for basically some purpose of SB-884, and 2 alternatives, which is like we are encouraging utility to for each of these calculate or risk all the fields. So these are the primary keys that we can join or connect or data to, not only to OIS, but energy safety, I mean, and also in other tables that 1, 2, and 4 that we have. Did I answer your question?
Yes, it does. So we should expect that the RRU ID, OEIS ID, or sub-project ID are basically synonyms of each other. They represent the same elements of a project. Is that correct?
So, correct. Yeah, so project OIS project ID is exactly the same as project ID as energy safety guidelines. So project ID is OIS is exactly the same. Something that I think we mentioned it a few times, but it's worth mentioning it again, that if utilities decide to use a sub-project designation, but at the beginning they don't have the information for sub-project, they start reporting with project ID. So in like phase 2 application, they provide the data at project ID level. And then when they scope the project, actually you brought up a very good question before, that when they scope, what happened? When they scope, it means that they have more information, they have more detail. They need to move to sub-project. So they need to keep reporting the project ID as is, but they at some point when it passed, I think a screen 4, I believe, they need to create sub-project ID and at the same time RRU. And at that point, we have RRU ID and sub-project. If utilities start with project and they want to use the project designation, meaning that during the whole process, they don't want to go to sub-project and keep using project, then RRU would be like 1-to-1 to project ID. But in the first scenario that I just mentioned, they start with project, but in future with more data, with more scope data, they would move to sub-project, and sub-project would be 1-to-1 to RRU ID.
Okay, thank you. Now I do have a follow-on question from that, and this is for PG&E. RRU ID and sub-project ID are synonymous in this schema. Question to PG&E: would order number or order be synonymous with an RRU or a sub-project, or would an order be something different again?
I think that the way we're interpreting this, Ian, is that RRU, sub-project, and PG&E order number are all synonymous.
Okay, thank you. That really helps. Thank you. I appreciate that clarification.
So if I may add something to it, actually, I think it will address the first question that you asked. So we are collecting these, like these 3 or 4 field are 3 primary keys as the primary keys to connect basically this table. But at the end of the day, we also collect, as you can see, let me go to at the end, we have 2 other field, which is basically reporting data, date, and calculated date. Basically, in each progress report, RRU might be the same, RRU should be the same, sub-project is the same, project is the same, but the reporting date would be different. So basically, it's another way to not only distinguish, but also connect the data set together, like having a timestamp, like when that calculated. It can be initial application, it can be like second progress report, third progress report. So this is what we are capturing here. I hope it is clear.
Okay, thank you.
Of course. Do we have any more comment or question regarding primary keys, sub-project, project, or any other topic? since it seems I'm not receiving any hand raise or question, let me, sorry, I keep talking about that, but it's worth mentioning that in table 1, I am scrolling to table 1. So again, we are defining 3 backcast field. And the reason is because it might be at the beginning we have project level data and later we have sub-project. So Cal Advocate actually mentioned that the original or the forecasted CBR or forecasted risk reduction in a phase 2 application is a benchmark. So to keep it consistent or to provide the apple-to-apple comparison with future data reported in progress report that might be in a sub-project or part of the project, then we define 3 basically fields or variables that basically enable us to compare the apple-to-apple comparison, like what would be a CBR or risk reduction or basically cost, present value of cost, if we know the data that basically submitted in the phase 2 application. I don't have any other topic or question that basically to discuss. Anything else, any discussion topic that we want to talk about? Can I stop sharing? Okay, it seems that there's no other question. Just a reminder that there would be the final, I guess, technical working group on June 24th. We invited Berkeley team to go through ICE calculator version 2. And we just sent a notification like a couple minutes before this working group to the SB-884 notification list. Just a reminder that there will be another workshop on June 24th, 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. I don't have any comment or question to discuss. If there is not any comment or question, we can conclude this workshop and give you back like maybe 1 hour and 1 hour 30 minutes. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.